In this video, I will review how to subtract fractions. It's very similar to adding fractions, except for we subtract the numerators rather than add. We still need to find a common denominator because it's too tricky to add thirds and fourths. If you remember with adding, when you subtract fractions or when you find a common denominator, first let's do our multiples. So 3. So multiples of 3 would be 3. I'm going to use a blue one just so it sticks out. 3, 6, 9, 12, 15. Let's stop there and see if we can find a common multiple of 4. Let's do 4s. 4, 8, 12. Oh, there it is. Now again, if you don't know your multiples, like I can just name them off, if you're still practicing those, get out in the back of your notebook. I bet you have a multiplication chart, or you can look one up. There's multiplication charts and you'll be able to count by skip count. Use your resources there to help you skip count. Okay, back to this. So we need to have a common denominator of 12. So 3 times what gets us 12? 1, 2, 3, 4. You can count or skip counts to figure that out. 4 times what gets us 12? 1, 2, 3. Whatever we do to the bottom, we have to do to the top. Let's make our new problem. 2 times 4 equals 8. 3 times 4 we know is 12. 1 times 3 is 3, and we know 4 times 3 is 12. Now that we have a common denominator, we can subtract our numerator. 8 minus 3 is 5, and we keep our denominator the same. So 5/12 is our answer. 5/12 cannot be reduced. There is not a number that can go into both 5 and 12. All right, and I mean, just to prove that, I can remind you how to do that if you need to be sure. Our factors for 5 are 1 times 5, and that's it. 5 is a prime number. Our factors for 12 are 1 and 12, 2 and 6, 3 and 4. Besides 1, there are no numbers that they share. So that's how you know that that's the lowest, simplest form it can go. All right, let's do one more together. This one, why don't we do together? If you don't have your math notebook with you, get it. If you need to pause the video, do so to get your math notebook and a pencil. And let's do 7/8 minus, what do I want to minus? Let's minus 5/16. All right, go ahead. Oh, sorry, I thought I was going to sneeze there. Go ahead and write that down. Excuse me. In your math notebook. Okay. First thing we need to do is find a common denominator. Let's skip count by 8s. 8, 16, 24. Let's stop there. Let's do 16 next because our first number is 16. There it is. Oh, I love when it's that easy. 16 will be our common denominator. Oh, our 16 is already there, so we don't have to change this one at all. We only need to change this one. 8 times what gets us 16? Twice. 1, 2. 8 times 2. Whatever we do to the bottom, we have to do to the top. Again, if I'm going too fast, pause the video so you can catch up and do this with me. Now let's create our new problem. 7 times 2 is 14. 8 times 2 is 16. we're going to subtract our 5/16. That gets to stay the same. Excuse me. All right, now that since our denominators are the same, that stays 16ths. And now we subtract 14 minus 5. 14 minus 5 is 9. And we can double check to make sure this is our lowest common, or most simplified, by finding the factors. The factors of 9 are 9 and 1, and 3 and 3. The factors of 16 are 16 and 1, 2 and 8, and 4 and 4. Besides 1, they don't share any common factors. That means that this is our simplest form. This is our answer. Okay, let's just say this was, let's backtrack here. Just to practice, let's say this was an 8. And this was a 6. Okay, so we're going to keep these the same. Instead of a 9, it's going to be an 8. This is just a practice. Because reducing fractions is actually quite tricky. We spend a lot of time on that in the classroom, so it's really important to practice. Let's find factors of 8. We know 1 and 8, 2 and 4. Okay. We don't need ones. Let's cross those off. Now let's find our greatest common factor. All right, 16. Well, 16's not an 8, so let's cross that off. All right, is 8 in both of them? Oh, it sure is. Is 2 in both of them? It sure is, but 8 is bigger, so we'll keep it. And 4 is in both of them, but 8 is still bigger, so we're going to keep our 8. Now that we have 8 as our greatest common factor, we need to divide. I'm going to get rid of this. We need to divide both the numerator and the denominator by our greatest common factor. In this case, it's 8 divided by 8 divided by 8. So 16 divided by 8, or 8 times what is 16? That's 2. And 8 divided by 8 is 1. So in this case, if this was our problem, it would be 1/2. All right. Again, if you need to do this problem slower, go ahead and start the video over and pause when you need to. Take your time on this. This is the really great thing about learning from home, is you can take the time you need. You can pause the videos to really think about how it's done. If you're still stuck, come to office hours. That's what those are for. Or set up an extra meeting with Mr. Shively or myself.